All right, Francis, you're there in Paris, and this is obviously a huge event. The world is paying close attention to what's going to happen at the end of the month, if anything. Um, Based on what you are feeling and from your discussion there with decision makers and influencers, do you feel like there will be some sort of substantive agreement that the world can hold up and say this is going to mark a change in the way business is being done in the Middle East?
There's nothing about what we're hearing, any of the political leaders here, that suggests that any deal that they reach by the end of the month will be one that we can be proud of. Look, any agreement that allows them to have a nuclear capability that can permit them to break out and have a weapon is not a good agreement. And so, frankly, we've given so much away already in the process of the negotiation. It's hard to imagine that any deal that they cut will be anything other than a bad deal.
All right, so the only alternative here would maybe be to walk away and to impose more sanctions on the regime in Iran to send a message that there's really nowhere else to go in terms of these specific negotiations.
That's exactly right. Look, it's sanctions that got them to the table. They want desperately to get out from underneath those sanctions, and the current U.S. administration has given them an easy way out. We even see now during the period of the negotiations, billions of dollars have been pumped into the Iranian economy with already the easing, and that only gets worse. The more easing of sanctions, the easier it becomes for the Iranians not to be sort of live up to whatever deal does get cut.
And then the alternative there, and what you hear from the folks like John Kerry who say we still have to reach this agreement, is that Iran will turn their backs on the West and go ahead and start developing a nuclear weapon anyway.
Right, but that's what they were doing before this negotiation. I don't see. We act as though we have no other alternative. We know that the sanctions were absolutely crippling on the Iranian regime, and we know that weakened them sufficiently to get them here. Frankly, we ought to reimpose the sanctions, and we ought to look to support the Iranian opposition. The NCRI here at this Paris meeting is one aspect of that, but we failed in 2009 to support the freedom movement in Iran, and we need a policy and a strategy that supports Iranian opposition.
And do you think that message can still get to the Iranian people?
Yeah, and that's what this conference in Paris is all about. That is, you don't just have to talk to the United States government. You have to talk to the American people, and the American people have the ability to talk beyond the administration.
All right, thank you very much, Francis. Good. Enjoy your time in Paris. Hopefully you get to see part of the city.
Absolutely. Thank you.